Welcome back, everybody. I got another video for you today. Today's like a little overview video of my aquaponics system. I started this project a little over 2 years ago, almost exactly 2 years ago, and I just wanted to show some of the inner workings of it, maybe some of the issues I had and some of the solutions. So thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you all doing well and having a good week. Let's check it out. So I have two 275-gallon IBC containers, as you see here, on my patio, and they have steel pallets to hold them up off the ground. And then I've got my watering bar here, and then my solid lift right here, solid waste lift. So that's this is 1.5 inch PVC. There's a T, 1.5 inch PVC T right there, and this thing goes down to the bottom and it has a 3 inch PVC pipe at the bottom, so it's got a large opening for gathering up waste. And then that just brings up the waste to here. As you can see, there's no cap on here because this would siphon out if you had a cap on it, and that would not be good. But anyways, that goes over to here to this 1.5 inch that comes out here and then goes down and then over and joins to the other tank, and then I have the same type of setup in there. And then I have the IBC container itself, the plastic portion, I painted the outside of it, and then I wrapped it with this reflective insulation before I placed it inside the steel cage. And then once I placed it in the steel cage, I've wrapped it up with this shade cloth you can see here. These are actually banners that somebody gave me, so they're UV treated and should last a little while. Then I've got the PVC wrapped up and then covered up with some extra shade cloth over here. Okay, I'm not sure what happened there. The app on my phone crashed, so that's why there's a little pause there. Hopefully, hopefully it didn't happen while I was talking about all this. But anyways, here's the other drain, comes out to here, connects into the main one here, and this is lower too than that side, and that comes out over here to my solid waste filter that I have here. The reason I have this covered, well, you're gonna find out right now, so heck with it. Here we go. Mosquito City. So I'm gonna keep that closed. The mosquitoes, the larvae get sucked up the lift filter down there, the ones that don't get consumed by the fish, and they get trapped in here. And I'm going to leave the lid on just because I don't want to let all those mosquitoes out and let them die in there. This is my solid waste filter, and then I have a little drain right here. I can collect some of the solid waste. I just put a bucket underneath it. These are 55-gallon drums. This one's up off the ground on some wood, as you can see here. And then this one is my biofilter, and it's got all my biomedia in it. It's going to have mosquitoes in it as well. Maybe not as many. No, I don't see any. But you can see the biomedia down there. I know I was watching another YouTuber today, and he just started his biofilter, and the biomedia was floating on the surface. I don't remember the name of his channel right off the top of my head. But anyways, this is converting the plant waste and ammonia into the fish waste into plant food, and then this drains out through a 1.5 inch pipe here that I have covered up because we got some pretty high temperatures in the summertime here, so I have to keep it covered so that the plastic doesn't oxidize and break or heat up. But anyways, that goes underground over to the sump tank here. This is a 375-gallon sump tank. So here's the drain from the fish tanks. Goes down underground and up. And then out right there. So I can't see them, but there's a pretty big fish in there. I tried to do a video on it a while ago and was having issues with quality on the video. But anyways, there's my sump tank, 375 gallons. It has 2 pumps in it. One pump's attached to this line, and this line goes underground back to the fish tanks, and then the other pump pumps out here to the grow beds, and then I have a T on it, and that goes up to here, where I've got radishes germinating. That's some daikon radishes. Looks like most of them are duds. I got about, I don't know, 5 or 6 or so sprouted, but anyways, the other line comes up here so I can fill this up with water, add water to it, and I can drain it out too. Just put this cap over that, siphon it out. Anyways, the pump that feeds the grow beds goes underground here, up there, connects to this 1.5 inch piece. And there's actually a T on here. This isn't a very good design. I probably wouldn't copy this, but it's what I had at the time to work with. So, and then that feeds all my grow beds, and then all the grow beds have a valve here I can turn on and off. There's some weird stuff going on here. Weird growth with the Brussels sprouts. Lots of bug action. But anyways, here's my grow beds. Use the Hydroton. This stuff is expensive if you need to buy a lot of it. What I wound up doing is buying a couple bags at a time over a period of about a year. If I remember correctly, it takes 2.5 bags to fill one of these beds up, just the one. So I have 18 grow beds here, so you can do the math there yourself. And the bags are about 40 bucks for 50-liter bag, 40 bucks each. But yeah, this is after 2 years. I've got plenty of bacteria in here. Let me see if I can reach down and grab like some worms out of here or something. Maybe I'll just right here see if there's any worms in there. Huh. They must be hiding somewhere else. Oh, there's one. I kind of crushed him. So he's damaged, but you can see that there is life in there. I do have some worms. I got my broccoli patch over here. Getting ready to pull all this stuff out because the lettuce here is bolted. Obviously, you can't eat this stuff. It's really bitter right now. There's a lava rock. When I first started this out, I was using lava rocks, and that is not fun to stick your hand in. I'll tell you that. So I switched over to the Hydroton, but some of these have lava rocks at the bottom. Oh, we got here freaking totally mangled something or other. Those are little bugs, I guess. A little bug infestation. That's alright. I don't want to pull all this stuff out anyways. What else? I guess I could show you the drains. So these 4 beds here are linked together, so they all fill at the same time and drain at the same time, because eventually I want to use a smaller pump. So this is just an experiment, but I have a 4-inch drain pipe, and if we come over here we can see the drains, and they just go right in there. And I have this whole thing covered up with shade cloth because it gets really warm. Something that I made a mistake on when I first built this was the sump tank. Now originally it was just the IBC tote with the cage on it, and I just threw that, I dug a hole and put that in the ground and thought, oh, that'd be great. And over time, we would get a heavy rain and the sides wound up collapsing in, and it caved in the whole thing, and it was a big mess. It was kind of difficult to clean up, but I did clean it up. And what I wound up doing was taking the cage out and then wrapping the outside of the cage with some just some scraps I had laying around the yard. I used giant pieces of plexiglass and plastic, just whatever I could find, and then I wrapped the whole thing up with shade cloth, and then the reflective insulation that you see there now. That was probably one of my biggest mistakes. And then I have this. This is the end of the drain that goes down into the ground and then feeds the sump tank. This, I cut a bunch of holes in here because I had net cups in here and I was trying to grow some vegetables. The roots on them got too big and it wound up causing issues, so I pulled those out. I need to cover these back up to keep the mosquitoes out. And then I had to build this structure over it to shade the plants too from the direct sun in the summertime. And it does work pretty good. This stuff is starting to wear out though. It's just over a year old, I believe. Maybe a little bit older. But you can see it's starting to deteriorate, fall apart. So I'll have to replace that. This is just some cheap 6mm plastic that I got at the hardware store. It's not like greenhouse plastic or anything. But it did work out. What else can I show you? I've got my flood and drain bell siphons here. These guys. And this is just the 4-inch PVC with a 3-inch cap here. And then there's just fill up and drain all day long. And then you can control the flow over there with the valves. But like I said earlier, I wanted to eventually just have this with 4 fill lines instead of 16. But that's a project for another day. I guess gosh, can't think of anything else I want to show you right now. I'm sure I'll think of something after I conclude this video. So thank you guys for tuning in. If you have any questions or comments, post those down at the bottom. Hit that like button and subscribe if you want to follow along and see some more stuff. Click the bell icon next to it and you'll get a notification each time I upload a new video if you're interested in following along with my projects. But I guess while we're over here, we can look at some of the solar stuff, see if it's still working. All the plants look really good. Peppers starting to ripen. Got some yellow Scotch bonnets, but I don't see any water coming out right now, and may not be enough sun right now, or I was standing in front of the solar panel. It's got plenty of water. I can see the water draining out. It probably just shut off. It's not getting enough direct sunlight at the moment. But everything looks okay. Got my big Zac over here, and then I got my no names. Looks like the bird's like tasting out my tomatoes there. Yeah, got some rotten stuff going on here. Let's pull that off. These are all rotten. And then we've got this guy still running. You can tell that there's not enough light. The water pressure is really, really low. That's alright. I guess we'll wrap it up. Thanks you guys for tuning in. And as always, keep building.